So welcome to this video on the quotient rule. So what does the quotient rule say here? Well, if we have something in the form of f dash x is equal to g of x over h of x, well then f dash x is just g dash x times h of x minus g of x times h dash x all over hx squared. So what does that look like in practice? Well, let's say we have something like this. Let's say we have f dash x that is equal to x over 2x plus 5, okay? And we want to differentiate this using the quotient rule. Well, what we can do is we can let g of x, that will equal x, okay, because x is the numerator. And then we can let h of x, that will equal 2x plus 5. And then once we've done that, therefore, we just differentiate like normal. So g dash x, that will just be 1. And h dash x, well, that would just be 2. Okay, and now we can just put it into the formula. If we put it into the formula, we have g dash x times h of x. In our case, that would just be 1 times all of the 2x plus 5. So what do we get? So we would have f dash x, that would just be 1 times 2x plus 5, which is just 2x plus 5. And that is minus g of x times h dash x. In our case, that's just x times 2, which is just a 2x. And then that is all over hx squared. In our case, that is just 2x plus 5 all squared. And if we just to simplify this down, well, we have a 2x minus a 2x, so they just cancel out. And we're just left with 5 over 2x plus 5 squared. So for our next question, we need to find the equation of the tangent to the curve of y is equal to e to the power of 1 over 3x over x at the point of 3 and then 1 over 3e. So to this question, it's an equation of tangent. So we need 3 values. We need our x value, our y value, and our m value. Okay, so we already know our x and y values, okay? In the question, they already tell us that x is going to be 3. We know that y is going to be 1 over 3e, and we just need to work out that m value. Okay, so to do that, how do we work out the m value? Well, we just need to differentiate and then put in our value of x. So we differentiate this, and it's in that fraction form, which means that we can use the quotient rule to differentiate. So if we use the quotient rule to differentiate, well, first things first, let's say that f of x is e to the 1 over 3x over x, okay, and if we know that, we can let g of x can just be e to the 1 over 3x, and h of x can just be x, okay? If we know that, we have that g dash x, that would equal 1 over 3e, 1 over 3x, and h dash x would just equal 1, okay? So now if we use the quotient rule formula, okay, we know that f dash x, that would be g dash x times h of x. So in our case, that would be, we get a 1 over 3x e to the power of 1 over 3x. And that will be minus g of x times h dash x. In our case, that will just be the e 1 over 3x. And that's all over hx squared. H of x is just x, so that is all over x squared. So now at this point, you don't need to do anything else with it. You can just right now plug in your value of x, and that will give you your m value. So in this case, well, what do we know? We know that x is 3. So if we do f dash 3, okay, f dash 3, well, we get a 1 over 3 times by a 3, that's just 1, okay? And then we get an e to the power of 1 over 3 times 3, that's just, again, e to the power of 1, so that would just be e. And then we get a minus e to the power of 1 over 3 times by 3, well, again, that's just e to the power of 1, so that will give us a minus e. And then that is over 3 squared, which doesn't really matter, to be honest. Because we have an e minus an e, that will just give us a 0. So yeah, we're just left with 0, which means that our gradient is just 0, okay? Which means that you don't really need to do much else. Just for the sake of it, I'll put it into the formula. of y take away y1 is equal to m, x take away x1, but you don't even need to do that. I mean, even doing this, you can clearly see that we'd get a y minus 1 over 3e, and then that's just equal to 0, okay, because we have no gradient, which therefore means that our answer would just be 1 is equal to, no, not 1, y is equal to 1 over 3e. So for the last question of the day, we need to find the exact value of dy over dx at the point where x is equal to pi over 9 on the curve of equation of y is equal to ln x over sine 3x. So first thing I'm going to do is I will rewrite this as f dash x is equal to ln x over sine 3x. Now that I've done that, we know that g of x in this case would be a ln x. We know that h of x would be a sine to the 3x. Okay, and now we know that g dash x, well, that would just be 1 over x. Okay, that's one of the ones you need to know. And then h dash x, that would be, we get a 3 would come out, that would change to a cos 3x. Okay, so now we've got all the values we need, we just put it into the formula. So to do that, that would be g dash x times h of x. So if I write that here, that would be f dash x is equal to sine 3x over x, and that will be minus a g of x times a h dash x. In our case, that will be a 3 cos 3x ln x. Okay, and that is all over h of x squared. In our case, that is just sine, we can write sine squared 3x or sine 3x all squared up to u. So now at this stage, we're told that we're going to find the exact value at the point where x is equal to pi over 9. So now we just need to put pi over 9 in for all of our x values. So if we do that, let me scroll up here, we would get the f of pi over 9, and then that would be sine 3 times pi over 9, which is sine pi over 3, over x, which is pi over 9, minus a 3, again 3, and then cos 3 times pi over 9, which is a 3 cos pi over 3, and then that is times by ln x, so ln pi over 9, and then that is all over sine 3 times pi over 9, so all over sine pi over 3, and that is all squared. So if we start to simplify this down, well, we have a sine pi over 3 now. What is sine pi over 3? Well, that's the same as sine 60, and sine 60 is root 3 over 2, so we have a root 3 over 2 divided by a pi over 9. We have a minus a 3 cos pi over 3. Well, what is cos pi over 3? That is cos 60. So, and cos 60 is a half. So no, that's minus 3 times a half. So that would be minus 3 over 2. And then we can write our ln pi over 9 here. And that is all over sine pi over 3 squared. Well, again, we know that sine pi over 3, that's sine 60, which is root 3 over 2. So that is root 3 over 2 all squared. Root 3 over 2 all squared is just 3 over 4. And now over here, I'm just going to do the root 3 over 2 divided by the pi over 9. So root 3 over 2 divided by pi over 9 is the same as root 3 over 2 times by 9 over pi. So root 3 times by 9 over pi, that would give me a 9 root 3, and that would be divided by 2 pi. And then don't forget, we also have the 3 over 2 ln pi over 9 here, and that is all over 3 over 4. So now that we are at this stage, now what we can do is we can get rid of that 3 over 4 on the denominator, so we can times everything by 4 over 3. We times everything by 4 over 3 now, it'll be 4 over 3, and then it will be that 9 root 3 over 2 pi minus 3 over 2 ln pi over 9. If we times everything by that, therefore, what do we get? Well, we would get a 36 root 3 over 6 pi, and that would be a 4 over 3 times by minus root minus 3 over 2, so that would give me a minus 2 ln pi over 9, like that. And then if I scroll up here, well, then that would just be, we can cancel out here, we have a 36 and a 6 pi, they both go into 6. So therefore, what would that be? Well, that would simply just be a 6 root 3 over pi minus a 2 ln pi over 9. And if you want to put it all as a single fraction, well, just times that 2 ln 9 by pi. Therefore, we would get a 6 root 3 minus 2 pi ln pi over 9, and that would all be over pi. And that will be it for this video. On our last video, we went over product rule. This video went over quotient rule. The next video, we'll be going over differentiating trigonomic functions. So I hope you're enjoying this little video series on differentiation, and I hope to see you on the next.